Hello and welcome to Walk the Pod, your daily walking show, where I take my podcast for a walk because I don't have a dog. You're very welcome along. This is series 54 of the Daily Walking Podcast that tempts you away from your desk at lunchtime to walk in nature for just 10 minutes. This series we're talking about inspiration. A very positive and uplifting and transient feeling, a bit like some of the others we've covered before, like joy. And we've also covered creativity before, and I'm sure that inspiration falls somewhere in the Venn diagram between those two things. But what is it? What does it mean? And what does it mean to us, most importantly? Welcome to Walk the Pod. So you're very welcome along to the 54th series of Walk the Pod. The first thing I've learned about our theme, inspiration, is that it comes from inhalation. It is sort of about breathing in, has got to do with breathing in. And this is very relevant to me at the moment because I've just had a treatment which allows me to breathe slightly more easily than I could before. Now, at the moment, dear friends, I think it's fair to say that breathing is not completely fixed. It's actually still a little bit difficult on the basis that I am now recovering from the surgery still. So I have not bounced back, but I think that once I have done the initial bit of recovery and healing, I will be able to breathe more easily for a couple of years, which is good. And as Sam said to me the other day, it's okay to have a chronic condition. I have to understand and have to find peace with the fact that my breathing is always going to be something that I have to think about and get treatment for and so on. But that's okay. I'm in very good hands of the consultants at the Charing Cross Hospital. Anyway, that is a digression slightly too far away from our theme, inspiration, which is something to do with breathing in. Has got to do with the feeling of absolute sort of feeling that we can do something with new energy and in a new way and with new ideas. A feeling that comes upon us very, very quickly and is often abundant at the start of a new project, and then quite naturally kind of fades as the project gets underway. The initial inspiration makes us feel that we can do this project forever. Got so many new ideas, it's going to be so brilliant. But as we use up some of those ideas and try and make progress with them and perhaps find it difficult, inspiration is harder to come by. But as usual, I'm much more interested in what inspiration means to you than what inspiration means to me. In previous series, we've had lovely suggestions from the community, including readings and blog posts and poems about the subjects we've studied or taken a couple of weeks to think about in a focused way, at any rate. So I'm really interested to hear from you, particularly if you have a creative practice of some kind. Where do you get your inspiration from? How do you feel when you're inspired? When do you feel inspired? How long does it last? What do you do with it? And how does it continue to help you in your creative practice? There is a little saying that creativity is only 10% inspiration and 90% perspiration. So it's not to take away the fact that if we have a creative practice, there is a lot involved in actually doing of it. But inspiration has to be there somewhere. Do you feel inspired once you've started perspiring? Do you wait for inspiration to strike before you start? Or do you trust that inspiration will come? Please let me know. Go to walkthepod.com where it will give you some options to leave a voice note for Walk the Pod. That's probably my favourite way. You can also email walkthepod@gmail.com if you prefer. And if you have my number, you can no longer get hold of me on WhatsApp, Facebook or Instagram because I'm not on any of the Zuck-based platforms. But you can get me on text message and Signal. And if you're in the Walk the Pod Lunchtime Walk Club, I will gladly give you my number if you don't have it. So your thoughts, very welcome. What can I see directly in front of me? Well, I'm walking around my local streets this lunchtime because I am taking it easy at the moment. You can sort of tell that I'm taking it easy. I'm speaking more slowly, and I'm just generally trying to be a bit more slow and a bit more steady and just breathe and walk and not overdo it. I spoke to my mum at the weekend, the mothership of this parish, and she said to me that her dad always said to her, do not rush back, especially having had surgery or a general anaesthetic or something major like that. Do not rush back. Take your time, recover properly. So I'm making sure that I do that, and what I can see in front of me is Sam doing some gardening in front of our house, and in the next door house I've got a little black cat sat on the floor looking directly at me but not moving, and then just turning its head away as if to say, I'm not looking at you. It's not about you, you know. Absolutely correct, it isn't about me. I am very aware of this point. There is a DPD van and an Amazon Prime van zooming around, and a Human Forest bike. The Human Forest is an interesting brand. They make electric bikes that are sort of parked up all over London, and you can borrow one and you can go and ride it for 10 minutes with no charge, or you can ride it for a bit longer and be charged. That's what they offer. And the people who form the campaign groups for walkers in the UK are very keen that people are encouraged not to park these bikes across pavements, which of course prevents people in wheelchairs and people with mobility issues from getting around. So this one has been parked sensibly off the pavement, I'm pleased to report. The trees are very bare at the moment. It's a very quiet day on the road. There's very little to report in terms of comings and goings. It's grey and overcast and cold. But I'm beginning to feel like the winter walking is nearly behind us. We've just passed Imbolc or Candlemas in the UK, which is the 3rd, I think, of February, 2nd, 3rd of February. The midpoint, the midwinter point, which means that we are now on our way out of winter with days lengthening, and we'll have more sunshine, longer days, more blue sky, more light, and we will very soon start to see green shoots and buds and new leaves and so on the trees and so on. And if you're in the southern hemisphere, you are at the midpoint of your summer, so you are going to be coming into the colder months from now on. And if you're a walker, you'll be walking all the way through the winter until you get through to the spring again. And this cyclical wheel of the year type stuff has been increasingly fascinating to me over the last few years. I find it really, really interesting. I'm trying to pay it more attention, trying to eat more seasonally, trying to be in the season increasingly. And the more I do so, the more I feel like, yes, this is a good way to be alive. We spend too much of our time in boxes and clinically lit offices and meeting rooms these days. And it makes me sad to think that I might be in a meeting room on a sunny day. So trying to be in nature as much as I can, which is a lot to ask, but being in nature is one of the things that we can have no matter what our circumstances. And even if you're in the middle of an urban environment, you can sometimes find some nature to be in, be that a tree or a pot plant or an atrium of your office or a little green square like the one I found the other day in central London. Thank you for walking with me, dear friends. It's been an absolute delight to stretch my legs with you this lunchtime as we kick off this new series 54 on inspiration. We've covered just one or two small things today about how inspiration is based on inhalation. It's got to do with breathing, how prescient that is for me personally at this time when I've just had my breathing fixed, and a few things, a few prompts for you to send me your thoughts about what inspiration means to you. And if you've enjoyed Walk the Pod for a few months, perhaps you'll be inspired to join the Walk the Pod Lunchtime Walk Club. You can do that by going to walkthepod.com as well. Press the button marked Join the Lunchtime Walk Club, and you'll be given 3 tiers of support that you can join on, or you can join as a free member as well. And that will give you access to more behind the scenes Walk the Pod stuff. Very difficult to get hold of anywhere else now because of not being on all the other Zucky platforms. So if you'd like to see my Friday photo dumps and take part in choosing the monthly themes, you can do so by joining the Walk the Pod Lunchtime Walk Club on Patreon. And Patreon it's like the pub at the end of the walk for me. I go there to relax and to unwind and to hang out with other walkers all around the world, a sort of virtual walking club. So it's a very, very special place. I'd love you to join me. Patreon.com/Rachel Wheely. Take care of your beautiful mind, dear friends. Please do send me something about what inspiration means to you, and I'll be putting a little prompt on the community chat on Patreon as well to talk about inspiration this month. And I'll be back, of course, with episode 2 tomorrow.